Hi, everyone. Welcome to another inspiring conversation featuring remarkable people who are making a real difference in their communities. Today's guest is Priya Nunkumar, an award-winning SAPS Communications official, community safety advocate, children's author, motivational speaker, and Heart of SA brand ambassador. Through her work in crime prevention, child safety education, and her courageous advocacy against gender-based violence, Priya has become a powerful voice of hope and resilience. Join us as we explore her incredible journey of service, leadership, personal healing, and her unwavering commitment to building safer communities and empowering others. How are you, Priya?
Hi, Siddharth. I'm good, thanks, and yourself. And thank you for having me here today.
You're most welcome, and it's my pleasure to have you as well. So, Priya, please tell me. Well, actually, before I tell you anything, congratulations on your remarkable achievements. Can you tell us about your journey as a communications official with SAPS and what inspired you to dedicate your career to serving and protecting communities?
Thank you so much. So I started off my career with SAPS in 2015, and I've gone through different areas. I've worked at the provincial office, I've worked at Chatsworth as their district communications, and then I came back into Quadaguza, which is my hometown, and now I am the ILembe District spokesperson for SAPS. It's been an amazing journey, and I'm so grateful to God for carrying me this far in this journey. And I've dealt with all kinds of cases from domestic violence to teenage bullying to sexual assaults, where teenagers came to me and asked me for assistance. And it's something that I hold very close to my heart because I come from a family of police officials, and my dad is a retired general, a major general in the police force, and my mom is a retired teacher. So my parents spent a lot of their time in the community. They're always assisting wherever someone needs assistance. And I think that they gave me that as something that I inherited from them. I always watched them go the extra mile for people. And that's where I learned the importance of assisting the community, assisting in any way that I can to make a difference.
That's really amazing. Priya, your role involves coordinating communication for 10 police stations and several specialized units during emergencies. What are some of the biggest challenges you faced, and how do you remain calm and effective under pressure?
So, as much as a communication official doesn't monitor crime groups, I do it because sometimes there's a real emergency and the person may not have time to contact the police station in that rush. So I do monitor the crime groups to the best of my ability, and I always assist, but the most um heart-wrenching cases for me are cases of domestic violence or cases where children are involved, teenage bullying, and those really get to my heart. And I try my best to try and assist where I can. One of the most difficult situations that I face is when a victim of domestic violence has a problem, but she's not ready to leave the relationship. As much as we dare to support
Mhm.
her, she's not ready to leave the relationship, which also causes a little bit of pain in my heart because I know that she's still going to be facing that abuse if she stays. But unfortunately, you just have to let the process go. And when that person is ready to step out, they will step out. But it does actually cause a lot of unsettling feelings for me, especially coming out of a relationship which was abusive. So that's where I spend a lot of extra time trying to help victims of domestic violence and trying to let people know that it's okay to start over.
You've created innovative crime awareness campaigns for children, including your stranger danger brochure and the 21 emergency awareness initiative. Why is it so important to educate children at a young age, and what impact have you seen these programs make?
So I absolutely love working with kids. I've been creative from the time I was in primary school right through to high school. And I still remember
Mhm.
my grade 6 teacher looking at my book, and he said he needed sunglasses to mark my project because I used highlighters and glitter pens and it was so sparkly. And if he's watching this, he's gonna know I'm talking about him. So my creativity has always been there from the time I was a child. And I feel that kids need that creativity to learn. So what I did, I took my
Mhm.
creativity in creating brochures, in creating workbooks, in teaching children about stranger danger, teaching them about how to contact the police and what to do in an emergency, who to contact, who to call, how to avoid running into a stranger, if a stranger approaches you, what to do. And I feel that it really made a difference. With kids to understand that not everybody is your safe space. There are going to be people who are not going to be your safe space. And I feel a lot of parents don't explain that to kids because they know they're going to preschool. They don't understand that out of school, they can be meeting somebody who's just crossing the street, who's going to talk to a child, and it's going to create that kind of situation where it could lead to something else. And that's also what happened in a case in Quadagoza SAPS, which led me to creating the child identification booklet, which is a booklet that I created myself, and it was distributed amongst the province of KZN. It's a booklet where parents fill their child's details, and then in cases of emergencies, they bring that booklet to the police station. So it has all your child's details. If a child is involved in an accident, if a child's missing, because in that emergency, parents don't remember important details. You don't remember what scar your child has, or whether your child has a specific birthmark. And this
Mm.
booklet has all the details. You fill in every detail. You even put a up-to-date picture of your child. And when you are reporting a situation to the police station, it makes it so much easier.
You recently published your first children's book after beginning the project in 2020. What inspired the story, and what lessons do you hope every child takes away from reading it?
So my children's book, which is called The Possum Adventures of Clover the Bunny, it's actually not in line with anything work related. I wrote this book about my rabbit Clover, who was given to me as a birthday present on my 23rd birthday. And she was very special to me. She went through one of the most difficult chapters in my life with me. And she was always filling those moments with all her little tricks. And she kept me going at a time where I wasn't sure if I could go on. So I think it was very important for me to honor her because she now is leaping in bunny heaven. And I did write it in 2020, but it was just, I never had the vision to bring the book to life. And somehow, after going through what I did now, I realized that God was pushing me to do the impossible. And one month, I just decided, no, we're going to launch this book at the end of this month, and I am going to finish this book. The graphics, everything, it's going to be there. And that's what I did. There were some sleepless nights, but it was all worth the effort. And I plan on donating the printed copies to our local schools and libraries, but the book is available for a digital download for free because it's not something that I want to sell. It's something that I want to distribute for kids to also read. I know a lot of the time kids are always with iPads, they're always watching TV, but I wrote it as a simple book just to mix a little bit of fun of what a rabbit does on her normal day at home, which my rabbit was a bit of a posh one, and she did a lot of nonsense and a lot of naughty things, but it was all fun and games for her, and she lived the best life she could have ever lived at home. And I'm sure somewhere she's telling other bunnies how she lived like a princess at home.
Awesome. You have been recognized with numerous honors, including SAPS Provincial and National Excellence Award, the Big M Influential Woman of the Year Award, Heart of SA Women in Community Service, Community Safety Ambassador, and Brand Ambassador. Which of these recognitions has been the most meaningful to you and why?
So each one of those awards are important to me because they all honor me at a different journey I have had in my life. So life does have its ups and downs, and I feel like these awards came with that hard work that came through that journey. But my biggest biggest blessing for me right now, I'm not going to say the others are not important, is
Mm,
definitely the Heart of SA Ambassador, because the Heart of SA actually honored my journey of picking up my pieces and putting them back together. And also, um, Sharan Hariprasad, the founder of Heart of SA, has also been on my journey with me. She's been supporting me um, and motivating me. So she's been a big part of this journey. And I feel that Heart of SA Ambassador, it's really the most important to me because it goes for what I fight for, which is bullying and domestic violence, gender-based violence. And I'm going to use the title to make a difference in the community and try and allow other people to understand that there's more to life than staying into something that you're not safe and you're not comfortable in. And I would even use myself as an example of how I put my pieces back together. And there's more to life than staying in a situation where you're not happy.
that's true. As we observe Women's Month, you've courageously shared your own experience of surviving an abusive relationship. What gave you the strength to leave, rebuild your life, and transform your pain into a mission to help other women?
So this one is a really sensitive topic for me.
Hmm.
Um, so I was married 2 years ago, or rather 3 years ago, and um, as much as my husband and I knew each other, we worked together, and it's a bit of a touchy topic because a policeman and an abusive relationship, it's not one that mixes, but it does happen.
Mm,
And there was a lot of substance abuse and alcoholic abuse, and it took a toll on me where I tried my best to balance everything, but I could see myself, I would say, I don't want to say dying on the inside, but I could see a part of me being lost. And you'll notice in that period that I was married, a lot of myself was lost. I lost my ambition to do the campaigns I was doing. And I've noticed that once I let go, it really put my pieces back together. It wasn't an easy journey leaving. I tried a lot to stay, try and make it work until it became so unbearable and my life was in danger that I had to leave. I didn't have a choice in the matter. And, so it's also something that I feel I misunderstood when I dealt with victims of domestic violence. So there were a lot of occasions where I would assist a victim of domestic violence and I would say, there's a chance to leave. Let me contact your family. Let's get you out of there. And this victim would hold back. And I couldn't understand, why is the victim holding back when she could be
mm.
leaving? And when I was in that situation myself, I understood that sometimes you can't just leave. You trapped in a situation where you can't leave. You know, once a person threatens you with self-harm and suicide, you find yourself guilting yourself to stay because you're like, if something happens to that person, what are people going to say about me? But one of my biggest blessings is that I have parents who support me. I have parents who support me. situation with family is, oh, what would people say if they hear you got divorced? Or what would people say when they find out that you and your husband are separated? But my parents never ever did that to me. They never ever pressured me in that kind of way. And I feel it's so important. So I'm blessed that I had supportive people around me, people who held my hand, kept me strong through things, and kept me together. And while I've never felt so free, honestly, I felt like I was trapped in a place and I couldn't get out. But once I was out, I prayed, and I'm gonna thank God for this journey because I wouldn't have done it without God. But putting my pieces back together, if the person I was last year saw me now, she would never believe that I'm back and I'm unstoppable. And I'm going to do my best to help every person who needs that person to support them.
Gender-based violence remains one of South Africa's greatest challenges. From your personal experience and professional perspective, what practical advice would you give to someone who feels trapped in an abusive relationship but is afraid to seek help?
Obviously, the first step is never ever trying to get out because you have that fear that this person's going to come after you. And I think the most important thing is to talk to somebody reliable and somebody who you know is going to be your safe space. And that person will eventually assist you in getting out, whether it's coming to the local police station or doing those kind of things. But you have to speak to a person, because some of the mistakes that I made is that while I was going through what I was, there were a lot of things that I didn't speak about. I didn't speak about it because I didn't want my partner to look like a bad person. I didn't want people to see him in bad eyes, to say that, oh, he's doing this kind of thing to Priya. And, people talk. And I think it's so important to speak to people, because once I reached out to my best friend, it happened on my birthday. We were on holiday. I was sitting in the bathroom and chatting to my best friend from the bathroom, crying. And she told me, there's none of this. We've got this, and we're not staying in this. And she was going to speak to him, and this is what we're gonna do. And she was one of the people who actually supported me. I do have a lot of other friends as well, but she really supported me in getting out of the marriage. She supported me, she checked in on me. And I feel having a person who's your go-to person, who you're going to talk to, is very important, because that person is going to be there on your weekdays, is going to be there on your days where you need that motivation to go on. And that person will help you when you need to take that step, when you need to actually go to the station, open a case, or go to the court, get a protection order. And it's very important that you start somewhere and you have a person to talk to, because the more you bottle things in, the longer it takes for you to heal from it.
You regularly assist victims with opening cases, obtaining protection orders, and accessing police support. What are some common misconceptions about reporting domestic violence, and what should every victim know about the help available to them?
So um one of the most misconceptions of opening a case is something that I've personally experienced, is that victims don't understand the seriousness of domestic violence. They think that it's something you can open a case and, you know, a few days later, it's going to just be brushed under the carpet, or you can just withdraw the case, kind of thing. That's not how it works. And as SAPS and as the um, Department of Justice, they take cases of domestic violence very seriously. So if a suspect is arrested on a case of domestic violence, it's not going to be something where you can just come the next day and withdraw a case. It doesn't work like that. It's a very important case, and it's taken that way because a lot of the time we have situations where um people would draw cases of domestic violence, and then weeks later we find out that something went wrong. The suspect tried to shoot the victim, and it ends in a fatal shootout or in a fatal murder, a fatal stabbing, and it creates that unnecessary trauma which leads to murder. So a lot of the time we need to also see that there is a seriousness in a case of domestic violence. It's not something where you're calling the police just to scare the suspect and then it's done. No, it doesn't work that way. And the court has protection orders in place to make sure that the victim is safe at all times.
That's really insightful. Throughout your career, you've balanced law enforcement, public education, writing, community outreach, and motivational speaking. How do you stay motivated, and what keeps your passion for serving others alive every day?
I think it's the little things. It's the little things where there's a talk that I'm doing with kids, and there's this one child that comes out and she makes my day. And I've experienced it a short while ago. I visited a school where I actually went to preschool, and there was this little child that came up
Mhm.
to me and she hugged me, and I took a picture with her. But it made my entire day to think that this little child came up to me because she saw me as somebody. And for me to be recognized as somebody who's not just Priya Nunkumar, because I know myself as who I am, but there are also others who know me as somebody else, as this person who reaches out and assists. And I think that's the most important motivation for me, because I've never ever seen myself in that kind of light, except when being a part of the Heart of SA community and the Big M influential woman is where I really saw people coming through and saying, "Oh, but Priya assisted us in a case like this, and this is a Priya, she helps us in the community groups." And for me, it's just something I do out of passion for the community, and especially Kwadukoza, because I was born and brought up in Kwadukoza. And it's also where my dad had started his career as a policeman. So he was also very well known in the area. So people also know, oh, Priya Nankumar is General Nankumar's daughter. So it's something that links the two. And I think that it also creates that expectation from the community that her dad was this person and she also needs to be this person. But while balancing it off, I also learned to have the gentleness of working with people from my mom, because my mom's always calm and gentle. So I think it's a balance of both. But I have that motivation, and I have that motivation also from the people around me who have that faith in me. They know this is Priya. Priya can do it. She put her pieces back together. She's absolutely unstoppable, and
Mhm.
she can do anything she puts her heart to.
That's beautiful. Lastly, looking ahead, what legacy do you hope to leave through your work with SAPS, your advocacy against gender-based violence, your children's educational initiatives, and your continued service to communities across KwaZulu-Natal?
I would hope that the legacy I leave behind is definitely for people to know that if they ever need even the tiniest bit of advice, if they need a bit of comfort, a bit of motivation to see everything's going to be okay, reach out to me. And I do get it a lot. I do get a lot of people from the community groups WhatsApping me, people messaging me on Facebook saying, I need help in this situation. I got your number from the internet. Can you assist me? I want to have that kind of legacy where people know Priya is more than just an official in SAPS. She's more than just her communications. She's the person who's there for you when you need a person. And that is most important for me, is being known that I can always help somebody who needs assistance.
Thank you so much for your time, Priya, and I hope you enjoyed the chat.
I absolutely loved it. I was a bit nervous, but thank you so much for inviting me to do this. It was absolutely lovely.
You're most welcome.